The Silver Warrior, Part 1, The Fall and Rise, Chapter 1, The Incident. Jessica Parker lived for the rush of the wind against her face, the rhythmic pounding of her feet on the track, and the euphoria of crossing the finish line. At 24, she was at the peak of her career, a sprinter whose name was synonymous with speed and grace. Her days were filled with rigorous training sessions, media interviews, and the unyielding pursuit of Olympic glory. On a rainy evening after an intense practice session, Jessica was driving home, replaying her coach's feedback in her mind. The rain cascaded down in sheets, reducing visibility and making the roads slick. Despite her caution, she found herself humming along to the latest pop hit on the radio, her thoughts drifting to the upcoming Olympic trials. The intersection ahead seemed quiet, the traffic lights casting a soft glow through the rain. Jessica approached it, her car's wipers working furiously to clear the windshield. Just as she began to cross, a blinding light came from her left and a deafening horn blared. She barely had time to react before the impact. The world turned into a chaotic blur of screeching metal and shattering glass. Pain exploded through her body as the force of the collision sent her car spinning. The sounds of the crash mixed with the torrential rain, creating a cacophony that echoed in her mind. Jessica's last coherent thought was a desperate plea. Please let me live. Then everything went black. When she regained consciousness, the sterile scent of antiseptics and the beeping of medical equipment greeted her. Her body felt heavy, her mind foggy with pain and medication. Blinking against the harsh lights, she saw her mother, Laura, sitting by her bedside, her face pale and eyes red-rimmed. "Mom." Jessica's voice was a weak croak, her throat dry and sore. Laura's head snapped up, relief flooding her features. "Jess, you're awake," she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. She leaned over, gently brushing a strand of hair from Jessica's forehead. What happened?" Jessica asked, confusion and fear gripping her. Laura hesitated, her eyes filled with sorrow. "There was an accident, sweetheart. A truck ran a red light and hit your car. The doctors, they had to amputate your legs to save your life." The words didn't make sense. Jessica's mind struggled to process the reality they conveyed. Her legs were gone. The foundation of her identity, her dreams, her entire world had been ripped away in an instant. "No," she whispered, her voice breaking. "No, this can't be happening." Tears blurred her vision as the weight of the truth settled over her. The room seemed to spin, and she felt herself slipping back into the darkness. Chapter 2, Rehabilitation. The days that followed were a haze of pain, medication, and overwhelming grief. Jessica's dreams of Olympic glory were shattered, replaced by a new, harsh reality. She was confined to a hospital bed, her legs amputated above the knee. The physical pain was intense, but it was the emotional agony that truly broke her. Friends and family visited, offering their support, but Jessica felt disconnected from them. Her once vibrant spirit was overshadowed by despair. She couldn't bear to look at her reflection, couldn't accept the person she had become. Her physical rehabilitation began slowly. The exercises were grueling, and progress seemed agonizingly slow. Each day felt like a battle against her own body. Jessica's frustration grew, and she often lashed out at the therapists and nurses. She hated feeling weak, hated needing help for even the simplest tasks. It was during one of these dark days that she met Dr. Ethan Hayes. He was a renowned prosthetics developer, known for his innovative designs and compassionate approach. Ethan was different from the other doctors. He didn't look at her with pity, but with a spark of determination. "Jessica, I've read about your athletic achievements," Ethan said during their first meeting. "I believe you have the strength to overcome this. I want to help you get back on your feet." Quite literally, Jessica was skeptical but intrigued. Ethan explained his groundbreaking work in prosthetics, offering her a chance to not just walk again, but to regain a level of mobility and agility that would allow her to lead an active life. Desperation and hope mingled in Jessica's heart. She agreed to give it a try. The first step was to fit her with prosthetics. The process was uncomfortable and emotionally taxing. Jessica felt a pang of loss each time she looked at the sleek, high-tech limbs that were now a part of her. But Ethan's encouragement kept her going. The initial attempts at standing were disastrous. Jessica's legs wobbled and she fell repeatedly. Each fall was a painful reminder of her new limitations, but also a testament to her resilience. Ethan was always there, helping her up, urging her to try again. Chapter 3, Transformation. Jessica's journey with Ethan was challenging from the start. The first time she saw the prosthetics, sleek and high-tech, she felt a mix of fear and awe. Standing on them for the first time was an awkward and painful experience. The prosthetics felt alien, and every step was a reminder of what she had lost. But Jessica was a fighter. Her athletic background had instilled in her a tenacity that even tragedy couldn't erase. She threw herself into the rehabilitation process with a determination that surprised even her. Ethan was there every step of the way, offering guidance and support. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Jessica's progress was slow but steady. She relearned how to balance, how to walk, and eventually how to run. Each milestone was a victory, celebrated by Ethan and her team of therapists. The prosthetics, once foreign and cumbersome, began to feel like an extension of herself. Ethan's encouragement was a constant source of strength. He admired her resilience and dedication, and their professional relationship gradually deepened. They spent long hours together, not just working on her physical therapy, but also talking about their lives, their hopes, and their fears. One evening, after a particularly exhausting session, they sat in the rehab center's garden. The night was calm, and the stars twinkled above them. Jessica, exhausted but content, looked over at Ethan. "Thank you, Ethan, for everything. I couldn't have come this far without you," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. Ethan smiled, his eyes reflecting the sincerity of his words. "You've done all the hard work, Jess. I've just been here to help. You're an inspiration to everyone who knows your story." Their connection was undeniable, and in that moment, their relationship took a turn. The line between doctor and patient blurred, and they shared a kiss that felt like a promise of something deeper. Chapter 4, Connection. As Jessica continued her journey of recovery, her bond with Ethan grew stronger. Their professional relationship had blossomed into a deep and genuine connection. They spent more time together outside the clinic, sharing meals, going for walks, and exploring the city. Jessica's confidence began to return. With Ethan by her side, she started to venture out into the world again. They attended events, visited museums, and even took a trip to the beach. Each experience was a reminder that life, despite its challenges, could still be beautiful and fulfilling. Their relationship wasn't without its challenges. Jessica often struggled with moments of self-doubt and fear. There were days when the weight of her new reality felt overwhelming. But Ethan was always there to support her, reminding her of her strength and resilience. One weekend, they decided to visit a cabin in the mountains. It was a chance to escape the city and enjoy the tranquility of nature. The cabin was secluded, surrounded by towering trees and a sparkling lake. It was a perfect getaway. On their first night there, they sat by the fireplace, the warmth of the flames casting a cozy glow. Jessica leaned against Ethan, feeling a sense of peace she hadn't felt in a long time. "Ethan, do you ever wonder what life would have been like if things had been different?" she asked, her voice soft. Ethan wrapped his arm around her, holding her close. "I do sometimes, but then I remember that every experience, no matter how difficult, has brought us to this moment. And I wouldn't trade this for anything." Jessica smiled, her heart full. She knew that their journey was far from over, but with Ethan by her side, she felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Chapter 5, The Revelation. With her newfound confidence and mobility, Jessica began to take a more active role in her rehabilitation. She started working with other amputees, sharing her story and inspiring them to push through their own challenges. Her presence at the clinic became a beacon of hope for many. It was during one of her visits to Ethan's office that she stumbled upon a file she wasn't meant to see. It was marked with a symbol she didn't recognize, and the contents were alarming. Detailed plans for weaponizing the prosthetics technology filled the pages, with references to a shadowy organization. Jessica's heart sank as she read through the documents. The funding for Ethan's research, which had seemed like a blessing, was tied to this organization. She felt a surge of anger and betrayal. How could Ethan have kept this from her? She confronted Ethan, demanding an explanation. Ethan, caught off guard, confessed the truth. He explained the financial pressures and the promises he had made to keep his research going. But he had never intended for the technology to be used for such nefarious purposes. He was torn between his ethical duty and the survival of his work. Jessica's anger was tempered by her understanding of Ethan's predicament. She knew they couldn't allow the technology to be used for harm. Together, they devised a plan to stop the organization from exploiting the prosthetics. Jessica's determination to protect others reignited her fighting spirit. Chapter 6, Confrontation. Jessica and Ethan began to gather information, uncovering the extent of the organization's plans. The leader, Victor Crane, was a ruthless businessman with a vision of creating an army of super soldiers. Jessica and Ethan knew they had to act quickly and decisively. They reached out to trusted allies, including Sarah, a former soldier with a deep sense of justice, and Marcus, a tech expert with a knack for hacking. Together, they formed a small but dedicated team ready to take on Victor Crane and his organization. Their first mission was to gather evidence of the organization's activities. They infiltrated one of Victor's facilities, using their combined skills to navigate the complex and secure critical information. The facility was heavily guarded, but Jessica's agility and combat training proved invaluable. As they delved deeper, they uncovered shocking evidence of human experimentation and illegal arms deals. They documented everything, knowing that exposing these atrocities was crucial. However, their presence was eventually detected, and they had to fight their way out. The escape was harrowing, but Jessica's combat prowess and Ethan's technical expertise saw them through. They sustained injuries, but managed to secure the evidence they needed. Chapter 7, First Battle. Victor Crane, discovering their intentions, sent a team of mercenaries to silence them. The attack came swiftly, catching them off guard. Jessica and her team fought back with everything they had, using their combined skills to fend off the attackers. The battle was intense and chaotic. Jessica's prosthetics gave her an edge in agility and strength, allowing her to outmaneuver the mercenaries. Sarah's military training and Marcus's tech skills played crucial roles in their defense. Despite their efforts, the team was pushed to their limits. They managed to escape, but not without sustaining injuries. The confrontation left them battered, but more determined than ever to bring down Victor Crane and his organization. Chapter 8, The Plan. Recovering from the battle, Jessica and her team knew they needed a new strategy. They regrouped, analyzing the information they had gathered and formulating a plan to take down Victor Crane once and for all. They identified key targets within the organization and devised a multi-pronged attack. The plan was risky, requiring precise coordination and flawless execution. Each member of the team had a crucial role to play. Jessica, determined to see justice served, took on the most dangerous task, infiltrating Victor Crane's headquarters. The success of the mission hinged on her ability to navigate the facility and gather critical intelligence. Ethan, though concerned for Jessica's safety, trusted in her abilities. He provided her with advanced technology to aid in her mission, including a new set of prosthetics designed for combat and stealth. Chapter 9, The Showdown. The night of the operation arrived, Jessica, equipped with the latest tech, infiltrated Victor Crane's headquarters. The facility was a fortress, guarded by heavily armed personnel and advanced security systems. Using her agility and combat training, Jessica navigated the complex, evading detection and disabling security measures. She gathered critical information, including plans for a large-scale operation that would unleash the weaponized prosthetics on an unsuspecting world. As she delved deeper, she encountered Victor Crane himself. The confrontation was intense, a clash of wills and skills. Victor, a formidable opponent, underestimated Jessica's determination and resilience. The battle was fierce, but Jessica's agility and combat prowess gave her the upper hand. She managed to subdue Victor and secure the evidence needed to expose his organization. Chapter 10, New Beginnings. With Victor Crane defeated and his organization dismantled, Jessica and her team emerged victorious. The evidence they gathered led to widespread arrests and the dismantling of the illegal operations. Jessica's story became a symbol of resilience and courage. She continued her work with amputees, inspiring them with her journey and proving that even the darkest moments can lead to new beginnings. Her relationship with Ethan grew stronger, built on mutual respect and a shared commitment to making the world a better place. Together, they looked forward to a future filled with hope and possibilities. These chapters provide a solid foundation for the story. Each chapter has been expanded with more detail, character development, and plot progression. I will continue expanding on the remaining chapters, maintaining the same level of detail and depth.